I've also a little bit bump on my board because I was so frustrated that I took the bar and hammering on the board. And I think you can be just successful if you're fully committed, 100%, day and night, and testing on the weekend. And of course, I love what I'm doing, so that's fine.
It helps, yeah.
But there's also some moments where, yeah, it's very time consuming, let's say. Totally collapse and you're on the water with all the lines, gloves, cold, and with the wind you're just slowly passing the whole bay and thinking, okay, what I'm doing here.
Why is the Pyro from Vayu better than other pair wings, or how is it better than other pair wings? This episode is sponsored by Foilsessions. Whether it is pump foiling, winging, or pair winging, this app tracks time on foil, upwind angles, and much, much more. For downwinding, you can set a destination and you'll get directions on your watch or on the earphones. Try it for free on the link in the description.
This is Up on Foil, the podcast for everyone flying just above the surface. Pump, carve, soar, let's foil!
This episode is also supported by SurfEars, but more on that later. All right, welcome to episode number 77 of Up on Foil, the podcast where we talk all about foiling. Today, it is with Philip Horn, and he's the owner, the founder of Vayu. They make amazing wings, boards, and they have the new Pyro wing, the Pyro, out. And I don't even know how to pronounce that in English. Welcome to the show, Philip. Is there anything that people need to know right away before we get into the story?
I think you pretty well covered everything. Yeah, I founded like 5 years, almost 6 years ago. You with my cousin together, who's running all the marketing, Sergio. And yeah, we brought out this month the new Pyro. I don't know if you call it Pyro, whatever you use the German word, the Swiss pronunciation, or the English one. But yeah, it's on the market.
Awesome. I want to get into this episode. I want to talk about you as a person, and I also want to talk about like the business side. How difficult is it to build a company like you just did? And then maybe as the new Pyro wing is just released, how long did it take to actually come up with such a tool? And maybe talk it through the life cycle. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. A lot of questions in one sentence. So
no, that was just like a general where the episode should go. Or is there anything that we have to start with? Because you used to be a windsurfer, right? Maybe we can start with your personal journey into water sports.
Yeah, you see it in the background. There's a really, really old board from the past, like a speedboard. I mean, all the customers who were just hearing this episode and don't see the board, it's a needle. It's a windsurfing board, I think like 30 years ago. So I'm coming from windsurfing, which is kind of the mother of sports from everything. And then like most of the people, I used kite surfing. Then later on, winging come on board. So I saw all the different disciplines, and from day one on, I'm totally hooked on winging because it's, I always say it's the best out of every world, out of the windsurfing, out of foiling, out of kite surfing. So it's like all combined here.
So you started winging, what, like 6-7 years ago?
Yeah, it was actually 6 years ago. I was at that time distributor of F1, and Rafael told me, you have to try this. And I was at a meeting, and I was super stoked because using the foil on kiteboarding was already pretty impressive. But with the wing, and it feels more like windsurfing and foiling. And I was hooked right away. And he told me, it would be big sport. At that time, I thought, it will be a sport and maybe bigger. But I never expected that it's exploding like this. It was really impressive.
But you just said that you were like a distributor for F1. Was that your main job then?
So I started my own company like 15 years ago as a distributor, agent distributor for Excel wetsuit, and then more and more we took more and more brands on board, and we ended up by I think 15 or 13 or 15 different brands. F1 was one of those brands. Yeah, we even distributed dive equipment, kite surfing, SUP, windsurfing, all those different water sports. I just started with one brand, Excel, but then time by time it growed, and but F1 was definitely one of our A brands here in the portfolio.
So you were the link between the brands and the shops. Is that about right?
Yeah, correct. So
Oh,
either as an agent or as a distributor, where I bought all the stock, and I have a warehouse about 1,500 square meter with like 2, 3 people in the warehouse. So depends from brand to brand if I'm a distributor or an agent here.
how important, now looking back, how important was that you had a lot of connection within the industry when
I
you
think
started your business?
it was it's the base for everything, because if you have a great idea and you want to sell the products, you need the trust of the customers. Because they know me over so many years, I think the trust was there, the network was there. And I think about everything, because we have the logistic, we have the people behind, we have the know how to import or to ship goods. And that was much easier. Also, the connection to some factories, which makes it a lot easier in the end.
I can imagine that must be a hard thing if you're not within that niche within the industry to find a factory and really like go at it. Just Philip, just a heads up, I'm wobbling around because I'm standing on a balance board. Indiana Skateboard sent me a balance board, so I'm just trying to improve my balance while talking to you.
Okay.
So I'm not
Okay.
feeling dizzy just
Okay.
yet. Um, when we look at maybe the birth of Vayu,
Yeah.
how did that come along? Were you working with these other brands and thought, well, there's something missing, or I don't want to handle everyone else's stuff. I want to have my own. How did that start?
It's a pretty weird story, to be honest, because it was at COVID time. So this new sport coming up, everybody had a little bit more time at that COVID period. And I was dealing at that time with PPE mask and all this stuff. So I was a little bit on the like the lucky guys who made some extra business with that one. So I thought, man, I made some profit out of this one. Looks like the market is really taking off. At that time, we all thought it will be the golden age for everybody. And it was the third time I see a new sports coming up, like kite surfing, SUP, and now winging. And I thought myself, or asked myself, how often do I really see a new sports coming up? And maybe it's the last time, who knows? And I thought, well, out of foiling, out of winging, probably there's coming so much more. And I was a little bit frustrated at that time, because F1 decided always to have boards without foot strip. I mean, it sounds crazy today. And so I started to do my own boards, or trying to get the first prototypes. And then I thought, you know what, maybe I should really speak with Rafael and tell him the story, and that I probably want to start my own business, and then just, go from there. And so I informed him. He gave me kind of period of 4 months before I can end the contract. And then, I just basically just started. Sounds strange, but just started.
I mean, that is awesome. Were you nervous? Were you excited? How was that for you? Like going, I guess, all in.
It wasn't all in, because I have my distribution aside. But of course, I was nervous, and I totally underestimated the whole project. Let's say what I planned to invest and what I finally invested was a totally different number. Totally, I was a little bit. I don't want to say blind, but a little bit maybe. I thought everything a little bit more positive. The sport and the brand took much faster off than I ever thought. So the positive things comes into game, and everything went pretty well. But it is totally different. But of course, you're nervous. Even the first test, I remember the first time being on the beach and somebody is testing your product is unbelievable.
Were you scared that they're gonna break it? That they're gonna not like it? What was your
Of course,
thought then?
of course, yeah. You're watching the guy who's coming out of the water. Is he happy or not happy? What does he say? Of course, and trying other wings at that time and compare it, and then you think, yeah, maybe it's a good wing, but do the other people like it? And could it be that we have one of the best wings at that time? And everybody was with this soft handles, and we were with the first ones, or with duotone, who have like rigid handles. And the guy who helps me to develop everything, he said, "Yeah, that will be the next thing." And I thought, coming from F1 with a soft handle, I thought, maybe, but yeah, let's try something else. Why not? And it was the right choice.
Did you know that spending time in cold water and wind can cause your ears to slowly grow extra bone, sometimes enough to block them completely? It's called surfer's ear or exostosis, and it's part of your body's natural protective response. But ear problems aren't only about cold. Warm or polluted water can also lead to swimmer's ear, infection and inflammation, whether in pools, lakes, or the ocean. SurfEars is the original patented earplug from Sweden. It's modular, customizable, and comfortable, designed to seal from water while keeping hearing and balance intact. Sustainably made and trusted by water people worldwide.
Very nice. So was the first thing was the board and then the wing, or was it first the wing and then the board?
It was the wings, or let's say I tried to do everything in once, which was also a little bit crazy at that time. So we did inflatable boards, foils with X's, so X's foils branded by Vayu, wings. We brought out in the first year everything, leashes, board bags, everything. So yeah, and has some difficulties here and there for sure. Because at that time,
imagine.
At that time you even could not travel to the factory, so it was everything was was from here and testing here and trying everything remote.
Did you have family and friends telling you, come on, don't go that much, like don't invest that much, take it easy one after the other? Or were they hyped and said, yeah, go for it, man, it's gonna explode?
No, a lot of people thought it's crazy, and when they see the product and when they see the market is taking off, then they thought, oh, it's a good idea. You enter in that market. I thought, yeah, but, it's risky, and I think, I don't know, like 80% of startups failed in the first 3 years or something. So the chance was pretty good that we are failing. Thanks God. Everything went well. So yeah, here we are.
Now, you said that you wanted to do everything, like everything, in the first couple of months, years maybe. How was your personal life affected? I can imagine you were working at like from sunrise to late at night, and how is your like family and friends like talk to you, like tell you maybe you should relax a little bit, I don't know, work differently?
Of course, it's always a discussion when you're self-employed and working and having your own brand. You're almost with your mind always with the brand, and always testing and seeing things, or checking by telephone, checking Instagram, checking pictures. So that was always the case, and I think you can be just successful if you're fully committed, 100%, day and night, and testing on the weekend. And of course, I love what I'm doing, so that's fine.
It helps.
But there's also some moments where it's very time consuming, let's say. Yeah.
What was the impact on do you have a family?
Yeah.
Philip?
Yeah. I have 2 kids, but they're 19 and 20, and they're doing water sports. So it was pretty easy to convince them
They
to
want
go
your
on the water.
stuff. Like, Dad's
Yeah,
made
yeah.
me a new wing.
Yeah, they started more in windsurfing and competitions, and the one is now with winging, and the other one is a pure windsurfer still. But yeah, they like what I'm doing, and they have their advantages because of neoprene or whatever they need. It's here, so.
All right. Well, that must help a lot.
Yeah.
Philip, what does Vayu mean? Where did that name come from?
So it's the god of wind. So we try to create a name which has a meaning, and that's basically the name and what it.
In which like religion?
Hinduistisch. I don't know, like an English word is like Hindu in
Hindi?
Hindu.
I don't know.
Yeah, Hindi. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, that probably helped. And you're based in Kiel. I was there a couple of times for sailing. I remember we had good winds. Is it usually windy where you ride?
yeah, I would say we have like 3 days a week. We have basically wind. It's not that warm. That's the only disadvantage here. So in winter time, we were lucky the last, let's say, almost 10 years that we have a lot of east winds and the climate changed a little bit. So you can ride all the year, but just in winter time or half of the year, you have to wear gloves and put it neoprene. Just this winter is really cold. I think everywhere,
Yeah.
but here it's really. We touched a lot of stuff now the last 4 weeks by -2, 0, 2 degrees, 1 degree. Yeah, that was really, really painful this time. Yeah.
So you test your stuff yourself?
Yeah, yeah. I have a team, so we tested everything with 2 people in the beginning, but I changed last year in summer, and now we have teams by sports or by division, let's say. So the X-rays, the race wings is a different group than the free wide, the freestyle, or the pyro. The pyro wing, it's kind of different groups and departments. It's the same designer, but
Yeah.
people who are testing are different.
Are you like the CEO making big decisions, or are you the guy who says, I want this. Let's make this for myself and people are gonna like it. Are you a businessman just looking at what people want, or is it also for you personally a bit?
It's always also personally, for sure, because I like water sports. But of course, I'm thinking also about the brand. For example, the Pyro ring was really painful to develop, and I almost give up 2 times with this project. But I thought it's pretty important for the brand because people are who are winging wants also to power wing and wants to stay with the brand,
Mhm.
and so it's important to have also here a good tool or toy for the people. But yeah, it was not only for me this time.
Let's talk about that pairowing. As
Yeah.
we said before, it just came out. We saw the first people like holding it, being on the water. How long ago did you start? Like, how long was it from we need to make a pairowing as well to we actually got it in our hands?
So to be honest, we started 1.5 years ago when I see the first videos on Maui with the weird parawing. I thought I don't know if you know this parachute for running. If you train for running,
Oh
some
yeah.
people are using. So I started with this one, bought this one, tried this to help somehow. Then they I would say it looks like a plastic bag. We tried this one with lines, and then I thought, well, it, it was almost impossible to go on the water with that one, even to survive. And then I thought, well, that's not fun, and I gave it away. And then this anchor leash come on board, and I tried this one, also okay. And then I thought I saw, but then I didn't really follow up here. But then I saw the BRM, and I thought, okay. So the first prototypes, and I thought, okay, that's a little bit different. That looks nice. And then we worked a little bit on that one, and then BRM comes on the market, and I thought, okay, we even can go almost upwind. And then we tried it by ourselves, but there's so much work in it with all the bridles and changing everything and so many options. Yeah, that I really was sometimes really frustrated that I thought I tried so much. It's still not that good than the others. There was a lot of work and the right people behind, I have to say.
So maybe just take one step back again. You did you order that Malika, that BRM? And then you
Those
had to try it. You went on the water with it?
Yeah, this one, it was actually the first one I used, the Flow at that time. So I try, the wings which were on the market at that time. And I think Flow and BRM, that was a good reference. So of course,
Mhm.
that's one of the first ones I used. I think it was like maybe March, April last year, kind of, when they come on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. The flow a little bit later. How was the learning curve for you? Because some people struggle a lot. Did you enjoy that new sensation, that new actually sport or discipline, or were you like, well, I kind of have to do it for my brand? How was that for you?
In the beginning, I tried it. It was winter time, so sometimes I was really frustrated, even with the prototypes, because some of them almost didn't flew, or yeah, it was hard to keep them up. And once they touch with the tip on the water, it totally collapsed, and you're on the water with all the lines, gloves, cold, and with the wind, you're just slowly passing the whole bay and thinking, okay, what I'm doing here. And so I've also a little bit bump on my board because I was so frustrated that I took the bar and hammering on the board. And uh, I had some fun sessions, but to be honest, it's always that also I like a lot the wing. And I'm pretty often in Denmark, and there's some nice shore break also where it's easier with the wing than with the power wing. But of course, I like to learn some new sports, and so yeah, I just use it. But I try to use everything from the X-rays, from a race wing to a normal wing to a power wing. And today, I would say it's hard to follow up with all the different disciplines today.
Uh, that's 100% true. Um, so then eventually you said, "All right, we're gonna need to do that too." You got your first prototype in, you tested it. While that was going on, there were new pair wings coming out, new good ideas like the color coding is for me a huge part. How much did you look at other pair wings when designing your own? Because there were so many coming out, it's hard to follow sometimes.
Of course, I'm always watching for all the different products. If it's wing, if it's para wing, if it's sport, I think it's super important to see what the others are doing. Sometimes somebody else have a good idea. Sometimes we have a good idea. So it's super important to try different stuff and to know where you are. So that's why I feel very comfortable in summertime already with the para wing. And then I get the feedback from the team. It's not that good. Like for example, at that time the ozone. So then you have to realize, okay, if you're not keeping up and you want to be top and a top brand, you have to stay on and keep on developing instead of bringing something on the market which is not ready and cannot keep up with the current, let's say, designs. So I'm always looking at different products, always.
So then eventually you were happy with one of these prototypes that all right, we can always improve, but that's a good standard and we can like roll this thing out. When was that? When can you give the okay and then you start selling? You just started selling at the beginning of February, right? So it just came out.
Yeah, I was end of November in the factory. At that time, we felt that we were okay already, and then we worked on the bar in December and tried the first production pyros. And so we were ready by end of December and went at that time into production. So January was ready, and by shipping was end of January, I think 20 something. And then we launched the product.
And now it just came out. Yes, I've seen one or two with it, and they seem to be happy. Are you happy with it? Or are you like this perfectionist who says, yeah, it's good, but tweaks here and there?
No, I'm super happy with it because we find out there were like two testers who are full time involved and invested a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we have by every product like a WhatsApp group, and sometimes I didn't understand what they're talking about. So detailed and so many changes. So I'm super stoked about it. There's always, when you bring out something that you have to keep on always. So you bring on a product and then you're always starting, okay, what's next? What can we do? So we definitely will start already, or we started already to think about it. Can we improve something? What we feel? There's never an ending, but at a certain stage you have to say, okay, is it good for the market? We feel comfortable. Okay, let's go. But you're never ready, kind of.
So let's have this be a little like ad segment for your Pyroing for the Pyro. Why is the Pyro from Vayu better than other Pyrowings, or how is it better than the Pyrowings?
So I think we tried to reach the goals which I think today are needed is to go upwind good with a good speed. So it's going pretty well upwind. But it has to be also fast so that you're not too slow. It has to stash pretty well. That's super important. So if the material, for example, is too thick, you cannot stash it pretty well. So it has to be different materials on the wing. But also, like you said, different colors that you find out where's the leading edge, where's the ace, where are the different lines, and also the segment on the bar that it's pretty easy. Where's the front, the back, if you if you compare it with the BRM, for example, 1 year ago, it was black. So and a wide wing. So there's a lot of changes. Yeah, I think that's a lot of enough power also for the low end. And I think it's also important to have this freedom, to have this bridge line.
Yes, I
Um,
love that. Yeah.
yeah, that you have the freedom of the hands, but also if you're sheeting off, that it's controlled opening the Pyro wing. Yeah, then what I think is also important, the tips on the bar that the lines is not like scratching the hands. So all this, the drain on the wing, that the water is going out easily, which kind of rods you're using, that the profile is really nice. That it's a very good pocket that you can go upwind and fly on the window side of the wind window. So yeah, a lot of different topics you have to tick here.
What I really love, and I use 777s usually,
Mhm.
that bridge line you call it, it's super
Yeah.
important. I imagine in Kiel as well, but here in Switzerland as well, if you wear gloves, and I have this like claw gloves.
Yeah.
If I have like a middle line on the bar, then I cannot move my hand too much. So it's
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
important that is clear.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. As you know, we're testing a lot with gloves, so it's important. Yeah.
Let's talk stash. And you said it's important to have a good stash. Do you guys make like stash pouches as well?
We're working on it, but it's not there right now. Also here, it takes more time than I thought to find the right material, the right stretch. Takes a while.
So which one would you recommend so far until yours is ready? Which one do you use? You have a prototype that you use?
In the moment, I tried the one from Ozone. I like this one very good, very much because it has a good material. I like to have one with a hook and with a good stash with a very soft material with a lot of stretch. I think that's pretty good because it's comfortable to use a harness and to have something to stash there. So I think that's
What
good.
I was impressed that you only go up to 4 meter. Why is that?
Because we're working on the 5 square meter. So we're it was our first main goal to bring out 2.5 because one of the testers from River George, so he's using more 2.5, and the other one is from Fuerteventura, so he's using 3.2 and 4.0. And I think we are okay. I think by end of February with the 5.0. So the 5.0 is already good and tested. We just make a pre-production sample and then hopefully we're on the market. We even thought about a 6.0, but I think 6.0 maybe you can tell me. But for lakes, it could be interesting. But I think 5.0 is almost good enough for low wind for myself.
It really depends what you're using it for. I use a pairing also for free riding. I just enjoy not needing a pump and taking a bulky wing with me when I go to places, so I can take 6 pair wings instead of 1 wing, which is, I think, super comfortable. And also as a backup, I've taken and it's a 7.3 pair wing as a backup.
7.2.
Just if the wind drops, that I have something that would maybe get me on foil still, because I had one session and it was quite late in the evening. It got dark a little bit and the wind almost stopped immediately. It stopped just before my jibe, and I ran into the pair wing and I fell. And maybe with the 7.3, I could have gotten up. I didn't have it with me. So as a backup, a huge wing, I think could be nice. Because I don't want to
Okay.
bring a paddle because I cannot paddle anyway, or
Yeah.
not that good. So that's
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah. Probably we need a bigger one. Also, if the sports is getting more and more and bigger, so maybe people wants to go really on super light wind or on lakes or thermal lakes, let's say. Um, yeah. Thought about it.
But it's also, I think it's super difficult. If the D power is really good, then the bigger wing is awesome because yes, you can get up easier. And then if you're getting overpowered, you can still D power. So if the D power is good, the bigger is actually better, I would say.
Yes, yeah. But I'm already using 5.0 in 10, 12 knots with a bigger board and with a
Wow.
bigger foil. So I think, yeah, I don't need it so much, but we have more wind and more consistent wind. So it's different, I think, on the lake maybe, or like Silva Plata, for example, if the lake is pretty high
That's true.
and the air is not that powerful, might be different. I think, yeah, really depends where you are.
Yeah, you're right. Thin air is also a thing. So we talked a lot about the pair wing that obviously it just came out, super exciting. You have a lot of wings too. You talked about the race wings, and I think the first time that I really like saw your brand was with that red race wing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask the question, who actually uses a race wing? Like, are you just building it for as a marketing thing for your brand, or are people like free riding actually using such a wing?
So we started with Oscar Leclerc because he was our racer, our top racer, and he pushed us all the time. Like, yeah, you need like semi single skin, and then he comes up. Yeah, first ozone with the double skin wing comes up, and he said, "Yeah, I need it." So I decided, okay, let's go for it. We have a racer, we have a race team, we have also like Yannick and Kim here in Germany, so the top racers here. So I thought always it's good to support them, but everything started with a single skin wing, and with then from Alula to the single skin wing to a double skin wing. Yeah, it naturally kind of developed it, and then I thought, okay, what was like end of 24, I thought, okay, now we have this double skin wing. Nobody has it except Ozone. Maybe we should put it on the market, just some small numbers, and then it was suddenly a huge success because it was just Ozone and it was us. No other brand, but I didn't really realize it at that time. And yeah, and then good results, good performance, and yeah, there we are.
Very nice. Very cool. Maybe you can tell us a bit, because yes, winging exploded. You saw so many wingers. I think it took away from the kiters a bit, also from the windsurfers. Now, is the market set? Do people have their wings and they're fine? Or are like the new wings so much better that people keep on buying? How is it going for you or for like the industry itself?
For the industry, I cannot tell you, but I think it's still growing. From my perspective, I think, yeah, like I said, from kiteboarding, it steals a little bit here and there. Also from windsurfing, I see also some new adapters which coming from the pump foiling or young
True.
kids, which thinks it's a cool sports. A lot of sailors also who are doing beside
Yeah,
their
that's true. Yeah.
sailing, also winging. So I think it combines all, or surf guys who are pro foiling. So I think it combines all the different sports before, let's say, like kiteboarding, or windsurfers hate kiteboarders or the opposite. So it was always a little bit fragmented, and now it's more a bigger group. So I think there's room. We as a brand, we almost doubled our numbers last year, so we're quite kind of we had a pretty good year, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's for sure it's not easy because of the environment and the economic side, but I think it's still growing. I would say the wing sport, or maybe let's call it the foiling sports, foils,
Yeah.
pyro wing, winging, with all the different disciplines which are coming up right now.
When I looked on your website, I saw that you were also planning on releasing foils. Has that been going on for a long time? I can imagine that's even going to be more difficult than creating a pair wing, and that took a while already. How is that going, and where is that going?
So also here, we started and stopped and started and stopped. So we planned this since quite a while. And also here, you need the right designer for it. You need the right team. And I tried it with a external person, and but realizing that the project is much bigger than I thought. And to have the right muscles and the right team, we're working right now on it. And I think we have a pretty good idea how to do it, but we definitely need some more time. Because also here it's changing now from the fuselage to monoblock system. And I think it's a good time to enter the market, but just with a plan and not like my first year bringing out everything on the market and hoping it's good. So we really try to focus what we are bringing on the market should be super good, and that's better than bringing under stress something on the market because we feel we have to do. So just slowly, bit by bit.
All right, and it's great that you have time. I'm excited for that, really. Also, like, because a German brand, like my neighbor, which is super exciting. I just talked to Gav at Hydrofoil, the Aussie Parawing reviewer yesterday, and Nico Hop, maybe you know him as well, Hopline.
Yeah,
And we talked about like our position and our bias that we try not to bring, but still kind of have. How important is that whole social media part for you as a brand?
I would say super important today. I think even if it's a pity, magazines are getting less and less important, I would say. Even I think it's a good tool for marketing, but I think all the Instagram, all the reviews, podcasts are super important today. Um, and I think customer really put everything together today, and and like Instagram and all this is just much faster and more directly to the consumer.
How about shops though? Because you worked with shops. Are you still selling to shops? People can order wings from your website. How's that work?
So we did a new website end of last year because we feel it's more and more important that people worldwide can buy the wings. Or I would say like 99% is really through our shop network, and that's our goal number one because they trusted us. So we honor this. And I think we're working with 160 shops or so worldwide together. So from Hong Kong to, I don't know, Brazil to wherever, in Europe, everywhere, you can buy our wings. But if there's a need, I think last week we get an order from Jamaica, for example, then you have the possibility to go through our shop. Or if a shop close to you don't have the product, then of course you have the choice to buy it here. But our main focus is right now still with the shops.
How important are schools?
Also super important, but they're just growing, I would say, because in the beginning I think they're not so important because they don't know how to teach it, and a lot of people just tried it by themselves. But of course, I mean, everybody who was in the school once, whatever sport, I think it's super important. What you use the first time, you probably will buy later on because you feel convincing with it and feel comfortable with it. So I think it's important. Yeah.
Very nice. So I think with Vayu, we can kind of sum it up. How much time did you actually have to get on the water? And if you go on the water, is I guess just for work, you go test something, give feedback, maybe film yourself or whatever. How can you actually get on the water just to enjoy yourself, or you don't have the need for that anyway because you're in the water often?
I try to enjoy the time, but there's also a lot of sessions where you have to test it. You just go back and forth, changing the wing, changing something, changing the board. So obviously those sessions are more work than maybe like a fun session, but very often you have also good condition. Or I try out to go before the office starts. So for example, like 7, 8 in the morning in summertime, or after work. So I would say there's enough time for having some fun session. And also in Denmark, we're, like I said, we're open on the weekend. I try to go to Denmark, and we have pretty nice waves there. So I definitely try to catch some waves there.
But your workday is mostly making calls, discussing and meetings and whatnot, and not actually water sports.
It's all kind of. I'm visiting also shops. I'm doing events. I'm testing stuff. I'm speaking with the factory, speaking with the team, checking what is the line plan, set you about marketing, all kinds. I would say, yeah, turning around 100 times a day. And so the quietest time is maybe on the water side.
So it really sounds like you find your dream job. It really sounds like you're full invested and you enjoy it so much, which I think is amazing, because more often than not, we hear from people who like make their hobby into their job, and they just realize, well, it's just a job now, and they lose interest, lose their excitement. But for you, it doesn't seem that way.
No, I'm still super excited about water sports, and it's really my DNA. So I can say, of course, it always have some negative sides. I think it's not, like I said, going out by -2 or -3 degrees. Maybe it's not the best time for testing, but I would, yeah, I would have been on the water anyway, I think. So why not testing? So
That is,
all
you
good.
feel alive when you're out on the water
Yeah,
in minus
yeah.
2 degrees. That's super cool.
That for sure, yeah. And we have, to be honest, we have like 2 or 3 weeks with eastern winds, everyday wind and waves, even if it's cold. And I would say the main group was always on the water. So it's like, I would say like 5 to 10 people was always on the water, even if it was like, I think even there I stopped by -5. That was too radical for me, but there was even a handful of people out there. So pretty impressive.
Do you take like special safety precaution when you go out in those temperatures?
No, 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 because it's like onshore or side shore
Okay.
wind, so it's not that dangerous. Uh, it's more important to have good gloves and a good wetsuit and good shoes. But yeah, the rest
So
is not
that's
bad.
Excel, if I wrote that down correctly,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, that's correct. Yeah, yeah.
Just maybe before we
But the
wrap
gloves
it
are
up,
from Mystic, so the gloves are pretty good for Mystic. The pre-curve gloves. Yeah, so you have to
yeah.
try it. Yeah, yeah.
So Philip, maybe just before we wrap it up, why should be people maybe change brand and come to Vayu? Why is Vayu the brand to go?
So it's advertising now.
Sure, go ahead, man.
No, I think we're proven that we're doing kind of the best wings today in the market. If you check the reviews and the tests, so I think what people probably honor is that we are really trying to be innovative, testing the products also in this environment, let's say, which is sometimes a little bit more difficult with gusty winds and not the easiest conditions. I think we have very light and playful products, and I think this we can really put to other products like the Pyro, the boards which are coming up. So we really focus on wing specific products which are well tested, I would say. So yeah, it's kind of short summary here.
Straightforward. We didn't talk about the boards. What is special about your boards?
So we're since day one with the boards, but we really invested last year a lot of time in the boards. So it's about construction. All the boards are reinforced with carbon. Either it's like a full carbon board, or if it's a part with carbon. So I think they're pretty light. They're good reinforced. They're sandish, so the finish is really nice, and that's why they're light also. We're giving details to the foot straps, to the right pads. So also here with the shape. Yeah, I think all this matters in the end if you're touching the board.
Amazing, amazing. Is there anything else, Philip, that you want to share about you or Vayu?
I think that's it so far. I think we have a pretty good team behind. I think that's super important to say. I can be as much as I want on the water, but with a great wing designer like Bill, for example, who was, I think, like 40, 50 years of experience. He was really part of the DNA of the brand with the test team. I think every person makes this product better, not myself alone. And I think that's today super important to have a good team and the right spirit and the team in the office. So I think that's the DNA and the story behind Vayu and the
That is
success.
awesome, man. I wish you all the best. Any like date or maybe year that the foils might show up, or are you not setting a date on that when they're ready?
I hope this year, by end of this year, or like but let's see, let's see. I
All right.
hope. Let's see.
All right. Well, Philip, thank you very much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure. I hope to see you on the water sometime. And all the listeners, the viewers, maybe leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast. That would help a lot. Thanks, Philip. Have a good night.
Thanks. You too. Bye bye.